What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're back again for NXT review. NXT, of course, Wednesday, October 3rd, 2018. We have our second episode of the next set of tapings as we are on our way to War Games, which will be happening in the middle of November. We still have another set of tapings to go before that, but we did have another match announced for the final episode of this, when we also know that we have the War Raiders versus Undisputed Era for the tag team titles on that match. On that show, we did have Nikki Cross versus Bianca Belair also named for that show. So, a lot going on for the next three set of weeks. We had EC3 versus Lars Sullivan in the main event, which was, I think, EC3's best showing to date since he's returned to NXT. And we started the show off with Nikki Cross. Speak of the devil. She, before the intro for the show even started, which NXT does have a new intro, not music, but intro video. They revamped the intro video, which was great. It does look a lot cooler, I guess, than you could say. We also had we had 3 hype packages. We had one for the North American Championship, which happens in next week. We also had one for Shayna Baszler, and we had a promo package, I should say, for Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, and them being ready for their moment. And the fact that they just pretty much tell you what they've been through since they've been gone, and what happened, since they've been in NXT, how they started in NXT, which, of course, if anybody does remember, is Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan beat the holy hell out of each other in one-on-one matches for 3 straight matches until they decided to become a tag team. They went away for a while as they gelled on the house show circuit, and then they were brought in to take on other teams, and of course they had their NXT Tag Team Championship match at NXT TakeOver Chicago. We'll talk about more of that later. But like I said, we started the show off with Nikki Cross, and she was like, "It's fun to play games. It's fun to play games, especially with those you can play with others. Hope you're ready, Bianca. Last time we played dirty or something, and she's just like, she's ready for another round." And then the last thing she says is, I know. And then she grabs the camera and just like, "I know." Which, of course, she is talking about she knows who attacked Aleister Black. When will Aleister Black return? Will it be at this set of tapings, or will it be at the next set of tapings? It's got to be at the next set of tapings if it's not this time. But I have a feeling that Aleister Black will pay Nikki Cross a visit between now and the end of this tapings, or the very first episode of the next set of tapings. And it's got to be in this set of tapings, but if it's not, I'm going to say Aleister Black shows up on the first set of the last set of tapings going into TakeOver. But we will know very soon. By the end of this month, I'm pretty sure, by the end of this month, we will know who attacked Aleister Black. As I said, we had an update. NXT has a nice little new updated entrance video for themselves, which is awesome. It is nice to have an introduction video like NXT has now. Raw and SmackDown only had the then, now, and forever since what was it, last week? 2 weeks ago? Anyway, it's nice to have that video of that entrance, that opening theme with the entrance video that they have. It gets you hyped up for NXT, even though you don't have to hype up yourself much for NXT, but it does get you ready for the show. We started off with Candice LeRae and Lacey Evans, and this match comes from last week, where Johnny Gargano was talking about his match with Tony Nese, which happens later in the show, and we'll talk about that later, that was a damn good match. And Lacey Evans walks in front of Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano as they were trying to leave, and she pretty much says that you are pathetic, and the fact that you are a real woman would be behind her husband all the time. She puts her finger on Johnny's chest, and that pisses off Candice LeRae, and that's pretty much where this match came from. I was having a little wonkiness with network and my computer and everything during the first half of this match, so I really didn't get notes of the first half of this match after. And Candice LeRae, if I'm correct, has new entrance music, which I liked her old stuff. Why did they change her entrance music? I don't get that. I think it fit her really well. This entrance music, it's something you have to grow with. It's just like when Johnny Gargano got music that wasn't the DIY theme. He got Rebel Heart, which kind of actually fits him. This one, I'm not sure until I actually hear it a couple more times. I don't think this really fits Candice LeRae, but they decided to change her music, and she has new entrance music. They stare down. I missed the next part of the match, in which the only thing I remember is they stared down, and Candice LeRae, not Candice LeRae, but Lacey Evans put a finger in front of LeRae, or put her hand in front of her, and LeRae slapped it away. And then I had things I had to take care of. I missed that part. The next thing I saw was Candice LeRae getting run over like she got hit by a Mack truck by Lacey Evans. Evans stomps away, and Candice in the corner. They followed by a Bronco Buster for a 2 count. Evans with a head scissors takeover, working on the neck of Candice LeRae. Kick to the chest of Candice for a 2 count. Now Evans with a submission on Candice as Evans pulls the hair of Candice behind the ref's back. Now, I'm okay with the heel doing this, but the way the referee was positioned and the way she was pulling at Candice LeRae's hair, because Candice has a like long set of hair, she's pulling it and she's waving it back and forth to where unless the referee has no good, he has tunnel vision and is only looking at Candice LeRae's to see if she's going to tap out. There is absolutely no way that referee, until Lacey Evans fell down and still had a hold of the hair, there's no way that he could have not seen her pulling that hair when it kept going out in the open. You could just see that there might have been the camera angle or something, but it just looked like the referee was totally ignoring the fact that Lacey Evans was pulling at the back hair of Candice LeRae. Then we get a Cobra Clutch on Candice as Evan calls her a pathetic wife. Candice LeRae, Lacey Evans with the pathetic life, you're a loser. She just wanted to she wanted to get into the head of Candice LeRae. Candice fights out, but Evans stops her, goes for an elbow drop over the top rope, but Candice moves. Insecure by Candice, forearms by Candice, then a clothesline. Candice levels Evans with a drop kick, then a back elbow, and a snapmare out of the corner, followed by a flatliner off the second rope. Beautiful looking set right there for a 2 count. Evans is in the corner, and Candice LeRae is on the other side of the ring, and she says, "You're a loser, just like your husband." Crowd goes, "Oh," and you could just see the demeanor in Candice LeRae change from to, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you." She was tired, and then as soon as you said, "You're a loser, just like your husband," the "I'm gonna kill you" face. I have my YouTube page. I have my YouTube channel on my TV up right now, and I have the WWE thing up, and you have a picture of Shayna Baszler right here, getting ready to box because they did a package for her, and she has that killer face on her while she's boxing, hitting this boxing pad. That face is pretty much what Candice LeRae had at the time, as soon as she said, "You're a loser, just like your husband." Candice just goes at her and starts wailing into Lacey Evans, body shots, head shots, neck shots, everything she could. The ref counting her out, 1, 2, 3, 4, pulls her off. Candice goes back at her, and the ref goes 1, 2, 3, 4, pulls her away. LeRae takes a deep breath, walks to go over to do something to Lacey Evans. Bam! Woman's right. 1, 2, 3. Just like Johnny Gargano has cost himself a match when it came to him in the Velveteen Dream because he let his anger and emotions get to him, Candice LeRae beat herself because she let her anger and emotions get to her, and Lacey Evans was able to hit the woman's right and pin her 1, 2, 3. And when she hit that woman's right, Candice LeRae just fell back, and it looked like she was done. She was down, she was out, and she wasn't getting up for a while. So, Candice LeRae, emotion, and she played into Lacey Evans' tactics for the end of that match. She did exactly what she needed to do to get Candice LeRae to snap. And that's what happened. Then they have a package for the North American Championship match, which next week is a takeover quality match. This set of tapings, I'm telling you what, we had an NXT takeover, an NXT takeover opening quality match between EC3 and Lars Sullivan. We have a takeover, I'd say semi-main event or mid-card or mid-match quality match next week Same thing with a tag team title match on the final week of this show. We have NXT Takeover quality matches this week, next week, and the week after that. So this is just like one of the biggest times of NXT I think we've ever had. But they have this video package, and you gotta I hope I can get this to work right and not get hit with the copyright claim. But this is a Battle for Glory in next week's NXT North American title triple threat match.
The NXT North American Championship represents the era that we are in here in NXT. My era. So this triple threat match, it's a lot more than just an NXT North American Championship match. This represents where we're going. This represents NXT's future. I own the UK. I'm the best. I've proven it.
He just celebrated his 500th day as UK champion. The biggest thing about, and before we finish this off, the biggest thing about the UK Championship is that I don't think Pete Dunne's losing it until NXT UK gets into rotation on WWE Network, not just like the first set of tapings, when it becomes a more and more possible thing, like it's on there for a good stretch of time. Because the first 2 months are already taped of UK time, and I thought there was supposed to be one last month, but I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be another one coming up this month for NXT UK. So definitely going to be one of those things that we will see the NXT UK division have Pete Dunne as their champion for probably almost 800 to 700 days or more before he loses the title. Is it a good thing? I don't know. The NXT title, the NXT UK Championship is still a fairly fresh title. The difference between Brock Lesnar, people are like, well, Brock Lesnar held the Universal title for 508 days. What's the difference? Because Pete Dunne's always there when they need him. He defends the title not only in WWE but at ICW. I don't know if he goes in Progress. I don't know if he goes to ICW. He also has defended the title in Progress, and I think he's defended it in Evolve too. I could be wrong on that one, but he's defended the title probably more times than Brock Lesnar has even wrestled matches in WWE in this 500-day reign of his. Who will be the next NXT champion of the United Kingdom? I want you to tell me down below.
That has the confidence of over 450 days as champion.
500 now.
I want to be the top of the whole brand, and this is the next step for me. My goal is to go around the world to defend this championship against anybody, because at the end of the day, the legacy of this championship is something that I'm going to build.
This man has been working diligently for 15 years, and for him, this is what it's all about.
Now let me make this very crystal clear for everybody. The NXT North American Championship's legacy, it starts and ends with me.
Adam Cole seems to think that he's the one who started and ended the legacy of the North American Championship.
Adam Cole is the first ever NXT North American champion.
He might have started the legacy because he was the first ever North American champion, but I'm going to give a prediction after this match, after this thing's over, for this match and how it goes. But he's not going to end this North American Championship. I don't think. We'll get to that later, but this is definitely going to be a match worth watching.
I've took that United Kingdom title and I've created a legacy. It's time I take the next step, the North American Championship.
Dunne is eyeing the title in Ricochet's hands.
And we both have respect for each other because we are both trying to raise the prestige of each one of these championships.
I'll prove what can be done. It's something that starts from the ground up.
The legacy of this championship is in very good hands, much like NXT is in very good hands. It's in my hands. The reason that anybody even cares about the North American Championship is because of me. When Adam had this championship, it was just a prop to him. So it's only a matter of time before the most important championship ends up where it belongs. No, I'm not worried about this triple threat. I'm actually excited.
There's 3 distinct individuals all competing to be the face of this brand.
These are the type of matches that are going to raise the prestige of this championship. What they're going to see is a restart for Adam Cole.
To make this title mean more than anyone thinks it ever could. And when I win this match, I'm going to be the champion of 2 continents.
With your first ever 2
That is going to be probably the best match we have seen on the NXT TV. It could possibly be the match of the year for NXT TV. There's Takeover, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views. But and Takeover, of course, is going to have its own too, and then an overall match of the year. But that match is definitely going to be great. I say Ricochet is going to win that match, hands down. There's no reason to even have Pete Dunne come close to winning that match. Adam Cole has bigger fish to fry as he will be working his way up to the NXT Championship in the coming future. And it's definitely going to be worth the wait when he does become NXT Champion. Definitely great. We move on from this match to our NXT Champion, who has a stern warning for one Velveteen Dream. They do not have the clip for that. Let me reset this thing, see if it's actually going to show up. But he says, and I'm loving these what do you want to call them? These promos from Tommaso Ciampa just on his own in his secluded area. He don't give no fucks about anyone else. He doesn't want to waste his breath in front of the NXT audience, because of course what's going to happen, he'll go out there and he'll get booed mercilessly, and he's probably sick to death of having to hear the boos from the fans, the boos and the hatred from everyone else. So he's just going to be like, you know what? You're not worth my time. I'm going to just do things on my time. I'm going to record these messages with my phone and give them to the production crew. He says, when you're on top, they will always try and chop you down. They will try and steal the spotlight from themselves, perhaps to cover their tracks, their own guilt. Your name is fitting, Velveteen Dream. You seem to be living in a dream world where I am the guy who attacked Aleister Black. But you and I both know that what Aleister experienced. My advice for you is to be careful. Keep your theories to yourself and stay out of the champ's spotlight, because, Dream, let me remind you, I ended the fairy tale of the Gargano fairy tale. I exposed the mystique of Aleister Black. And if you're not careful, I will turn your dream into a nightmare. We are definitely heading towards Velveteen Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa at TakeOver War Games. Black will get his rematch for the NXT Championship at TakeOver Phoenix, I think it is, or wherever the Arizona thing is. Wherever that in Arizona for TakeOver. That Royal Rumble weekend. That is where Aleister Black will get his rematch to ultimately lose and then probably be called up the next 2 nights, or 2 nights later, or 3 nights after NXT. So, yes, it's going to be Dream versus Tommaso Ciampa at TakeOver War Games. And then after that, it's going to be Ciampa versus Black at TakeOver in Arizona. That's where that's going to go. But he's going to take care of Aleister Black's going to be busy taking care of his assailant. That happened before TakeOver Brooklyn. That's where we're going to go from there. So definitely cannot wait to see what these two do, and I'm pretty sure it is going to be magical when we get to TakeOver War Games. That is definitely the first match for TakeOver War Games. We still have a long way to go. Like I said, another set of tapings to go, but we do. The tag team titles are not going to be on the line when we get to TakeOver War Games, because the tag team champions are going to be inside the War Games match. The North American champion will probably be inside the War Games match. So I'm hoping that they don't go with Okay, I've been pitching it, and I'm probably one of the only ones who's been continuously saying this is how this needs to go, because Bobby Fish is on his way back. He is. We need to have all 4 members of the Undisputed Era versus the War Raiders, Ricochet, and I want to say Pete Dunne, but since the North American champion and the tag team champions are both going to be inside War Games, we're only going to have 2 title matches at this particular War Games show, unless you have a UK title on the line. And unless they start putting out NXT UK before War Games, the only title that I could see them putting on the line besides the Women's Championship and the NXT Championship would be the UK Championship. So I would have a Keith Lee be taking the spot of Keith Lee, or somebody else take the spot of Pete Dunne. That's probably not going to happen. It is probably going to be Pete Dunne and Ricochet and the War Raiders versus all 4 members of the Undisputed Era. And that would be a hell of a War Games. I hear like JD from New York saying it's going to be the War Raiders and Ricochet versus British Strong Style versus the Undisputed Era, but they have not since Takeover Brooklyn. Mustache Mountain has not been seen anywhere near the NXT arena or been featured at all. So why would you want to just bring them in? No, it doesn't make any sense. If they're building it this way, if they were going to have Mustache Mountain be a part of War Games as we get closer to War Games, they would have been already introduced. They would have been reacclimated into this feud, but they haven't been. So I don't see them doing having anything to do with War Games or anything to do with NXT right now, because they're on their way to starting the NXT UK division, and they will probably be the first tag team champions when those titles will be on the line and when those titles will be won. I have no idea. Maybe in the next set of tapings, whatever that is going to be. I know I rambled on a little bit, but things just continue to take shape, and I still feel like I'm right that it's going to be all 4 members of Undisputed Era versus the team of War Raiders, Ricochet, and Pete Dunne inside the War Games match. And with War Raiders how they are, those two are going to probably put on a show along with Ricochet, the Undisputed Era, and Pete Dunne. It's going to be one hell of a show. Moving on here, we have the Forgotten Sons versus the Jobbers, 3 Jobbers. I did not know this. I don't know if it's storyline and they're just doing this for storyline, because Steve Cutler did come out wearing one of those masks that you would see like an NBA player wear to protect their nose because they have a broken nose. They said that Steve Cutler broke his nose in the match against the Street Profits. I would have to go watch that match back, but I don't remember seeing any injury thing coming out of that set of tapings that had him with a broken nose. So I don't know if it's just them saying like he may have broken his nose somewhere else and they just wanted to play it off that way. I have no idea. I didn't see or hear anything about Steve Cutler getting a broken nose. So I'll have to definitely check into that and get back to you guys on that. But he did have a nose protector on. This was just a glorified squash match. The Forgotten Sons win in about 2.5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. So not much there. Then we got ourselves a nice little hype package for Shayna Baszler as we get close to Evolution. As you all know, she will be taking on Kairi Sane at Evolution for the NXT Women's Championship. And they did show a nice little title card, the title card for the match, you know how they like to do for all the pay-per-views. And nice title card for whoever did the artwork for it. Really nice. Better than I thought it was going to be. But here is Shayna Baszler as she enters her fight camp for WWE Evolution.
It's difficult to describe what I thought of Kairi at the Mae Young Classic compared to what I think of Kairi now, because I think I changed so much.
100%. Shayna Baszler last year, there's like a shell of the Shayna Baszler we see now. She has improved leaps and bounds in the 1 year, when was the end of the Mae Young Classic last year? Beginning of October or something? That she has improved leaps and bounds over what she did last year in the Mae Young Classic. She looked like she was green as grass. She still has a ways to go, but she definitely is so much better than what she was last year. It is just not even funny. She has improved so much. It's like I said, it's not even funny.
That even my mentality doesn't think this. I got too comfortable in there. Going into a fight camp, a training camp, has always been what we've always done. And going into a training camp that's far more grueling than anything those girls in that NXT locker room have ever been through. You get in the gym, and it's the place where you mix and match, and you find new things. But for me, now, it's more about going back. Getting those building blocks fixed. Going back to the basics of what I know. The world has evolved. Women's wrestling has evolved. And at WWE Evolution, Kairi Sane is going to know Shayna Baszler has evolved.
Could we see, and I know it's like doubtful, but could we actually see the first ever 2-time women's champion in NXT? I don't think there's ever been a 2-time women's champion. I know we have a 2-time NXT tag team champion 4 times. Well, the Undisputed Era did it, the Revival did it, and Neville did it. So, yeah. And, of course, Shinsuke Nakamura and Samoa Joe both became NXT champion 2-timers. So, could Shayna Baszler win it again? I doubt it. But we still have a long way to go, and that is something. Just Shayna Baszler is on another level compared to everyone else in NXT outside of Bianca Belair and a couple other ones. But she is definitely on another level. Surely on another level than anybody on the main roster, and that includes Ronda Rousey. I would take Shayna Baszler in any match over a Charlotte Flair, a Becky Lynch, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Ronda Rousey, Nikki Cross, anybody who's on the main roster and anybody who's in NXT. She is just getting that. She is just that much. She is just that good. Then they had they had Tony Nese, who was in a match against Johnny Gargano coming up, and he is asked why he is here, and he says, "It's in NXT where there's a lot of where the best competition is." Well, yes, Tony Nese, this is where the best competition is compared to that stuff on that shit on the main roster where there is no competition. On Raw, it's Roman, and that's it. Fuck everybody else. On SmackDown, it's a little better, but not completely better. And then you get to NXT, and you're like, wow, this is what wrestling should be like. This is what WWE should be like. If you took a fraction of what WWE had, you would definitely, if you had a fraction of what NXT has, then WWE would be in a much better place. Now, speaking of the 205 Live, I did watch 205 Live tonight, and the difference, a crowd that is hyper, that is like lively, and though the crowd wasn't completely full, you could see empty chairs or empty seats, but the crowd actually reacted. The crowd was into the show, into the matches of the two that they had. They had Akira Tozawa versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher, and they had TJP versus Kalisto, and those matches felt like that. They were in Portland, Oregon, which was a lively crowd the entire time on SmackDown, somewhat too. They made the show actually feel a lot better than what you're used to seeing when it comes to 205 Live. The last time I watched 205 Live was, I can't remember. It was back around right after WrestleMania time, and the crowd was just dead. The crowd didn't, like, you heard little bits of chants and cheers here, but compared to what I saw tonight, this is night and day. I don't care what happens after the Mixed Match Challenge. 205 Live must be taped before SmackDown, because especially when the crowd is, I don't even care if it's 50% capacity. That crowd made that show feel a lot better than most 205 Live shows have been. I know the first week of the Mixed Match Challenge, they taped the show and half of the crowd was there because WWE printed the schedule wrong or the times wrong, but it was definitely better this time around than what I saw the last time I saw 205 Live, and I'll definitely have to check out next week because Leo Rush is having a open challenge. We're in the back with Kathy Kelly, and she has Bianca Belair, who says, "You're going to call me Miss Belair." She is asked about what Nikki Cross said and how she wants to have a match. She comes down, the gist of it is, she says, Nikki Cross had a chance to, I fought Nikki Cross, and I'm done with her. She had a chance to get through with all this, but now I don't have to just beat her. I have to embarrass her because I am undefeated, and I will stay undefeated. And she'd said that over and over and over as she walked away from Kathy Kelly. Johnny Gargano versus Tony Nese. There was a dueling Let's Go Johnny wrestling Johnny failure in this match a couple times, but this was a damn good match, and I wish Triple H would watch my shows, because Triple H, you need to put at least on one episode of each taping. Please give us somebody different from 205 Live. Cedric Alexander, TJP, Gallagher. Jack Gallagher is probably going to be a part of the NXT UK brand as well because he is British. Give us some Brian Kendrick. Give us some Drew Gulak. I don't care. Give us somebody at least once a taping from 205 Live to let people see what these guys can do, because this was a damn good match. Yes, Johnny Gargano is one of the best in the world, in the best in WWE and best in the world. He is up there with an AJ Styles, Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, and all those else, AJ Styles and everybody. He is up there, Seth Rollins and all that. He is one of the best out there. He is a great storyteller. He can sell like most can't. And this guy just makes everybody he is in the ring with look better. This match was just all over the place, and I can't, I tried. Hurricane Rana by Gargano, then Nice levels him, and he gets him in the corner. Many cruiserweight moves, then the rolling kick by Gargano. He sends Nice to the outside, then a two-piece suicida. Crowd goes wild. Johnny Gargano's hyping the crowd up and says, just screams Johnny freaking wrestling. Then the crowd goes wild again. Heads up, and Nice stops him. He gets him laying across the turnbuckle. He hits a running knee, then catches Gargano and hits a gutbuster to Gargano for a 2 count. Nice powers Gargano, followed by a body scissors. Gargano breaks out and just lays back on and tries to pin Nice, but Nice kicks out and clamps in the body scissors again. Gargano gets into the ground and pound, but Nice grabs him from behind. Nice drops Gargano, goes for the moonsault, the springboard moonsault, but misses. Johnny Gargano gets to the apron and hits his DDT over the top rope. Johnny wrestling, Johnny failure chants again. The Johnny failure chants, the Johnny wrestling was loud, but you can still hear it faint and not as loud Johnny failure chants. Those are probably going to go on for a while, but Johnny Gargano has got more Johnny wrestling chants than Johnny failure. Gargano with some shots, then a slingshot spear for a 2 count. Gargano with the boots in the corner. Ref pushes him off, and Nice tosses Gargano in the corner. Then they trade shots. Nice with a forearm, then Nice with some maneuvers. Gargano with a kick to the head of Nice. Gargano escapes, but gets reversed into a buckle bomb. My gosh, when he picked him up, you know how when someone tries to do a roll up and they have their arm and they do the deadlift power bomb, like Roman Reigns does, a couple other people do. Well, instead of doing the deadlift powerbomb to the mat, he deadlifted Johnny Gargano up, turned around, and just landed him on the middle rope. Referee goes to check on Gargano. This is awesome chant from the crowd. Forearm by Gargano on the outside, back inside, another DDT blocked, and Nice drops Gargano on the outside. Then a Fosbury flop. I thought the match was over right here. You had a Fosbury flop, that running backflip that they do over the top rope. He tosses Gargano back inside, hits a 450, and gets a 2 count. I thought the match was over. They actually had me right there. Huge NXT chant. The crowd chanting NXT. The whole arena filled up with NXT chant. Face wash by Nice. He tries to do a running face wash, but Gargano moves. Johnny Gargano gets hit with a German suplex into the corner. Turnbuckle. Nice tries for another running face wash, but Gargano with a super kick and a huge clothesline into the Gargano's escape for the tap out. What a match. I do no justice to this match. You got to go check this match out. And it just shows how the cruiserweights are completely underutilized. And I know it was just one guy from the cruiserweight division, but Tony Nese with Johnny Gargano just showed you why the cruiserweights need to be more respected by WWE, and it's sad that they don't get as much respect as they should. Post match, Johnny Gargano goes over to a fan, grabs a sign that says Johnny Freaking Wrestling, looks at his hand for some reason. I don't know what he was like, if something was wrong with his wrist or something. He's just looking at his right hand, and then he just lifts up the Johnny Freaking Wrestling sign, and crowd goes wild as they go to a package for Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan as they talk about their history in WWE and what has happened before, like how they got here, what they've been doing, and everything between that. As it says on the title card, Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan are ready for their moment.
Just got together actually against each other.
Those were some hard-hitting matches. I'm surprised one of them didn't end up with like a broken jaw, broken nose, broken wrist, or broken something. Because those two beat the living hell out of each other for those matches.
Fighters, two all-out brawlers right here.
Both these guys are tough as nails.
Kicked 7 bells of crap out of each other, and then,
No kidding.
we had magic.
Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, their daggers into each other.
I think that's when we knew that we had this mutual respect and that maybe instead of fighting against each other, we should combine forces and bring the fight to other people.
This is a combined 25 years, giving our blood, our sweat and our tears to get to NXT.
We both came from humble beginnings. We were not a couple of rich kids at all. We grew up fighting.
We've got a lot in common. You have to fight and scratch and claw to get what you want, but nothing is ever going to be handed to you. And I think that's why we click so well.
And I'm off it. Oh, DDT.
Danny Burch just pinned one of the tag team champions.
Our number one contenders for the NXT Tag Team titles.
For the people that say the title shot wasn't deserved, I simply say, why not?
Beat him once, we can beat him twice. We are live!
It's been 3 months in that match. Wow.
Take over Chicago!
When me and Danny first walked out, that crowd wasn't behind us at all, but I think that the best part was we didn't care that they didn't.
Yeah, these two went into this match, and the Chicago crowd was far behind the Undisputed Era. Everything Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan did at the beginning of that match, they got heavily booed. But go back and watch that match. By the end of that match, those two got earned the respect of everybody watching that match in the crowd and at home, and they got a well-earned standing ovation from the Chicago crowd. This was one of, if not the best tag team match of the year so far.
Lorcan doesn't care. The only thing he cares about are those titles.
And I like it that way. I like when people don't expect much from us because they just felt it. They felt the effort that we put forth. They felt like.
Burch and Lorcan taking it to Arrow. The fans appreciating the efforts of both Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch.
No question about it. They earned their respect, and they earn my respect too.
To feel that from the crowd was a real special moment for me. It's not a moment I'm going to forget.
We were rocking and rolling. I thought we had him on the nose, and Roderick Strong hit me with that knee.
And that knee broken, I'm pretty sure that was him. Yeah.
Right on the right side of my face, I ended up fracturing my right orbital bone and then collapsing my right cheekbone.
That's a shiner.
him up at the end of that match. I knew something wasn't right.
Hard to explain how you feel when you lose such a big match and you also, break your face. Pretty disappointing, but also motivating.
Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch.
You just hear the crowd, man.
They may not be leading with the titles, but they've left with their pride.
And the respect of millions of people watching that match. You will not find even though I would say the Seth Rollins and the Shield versus the Dogs of War tag team title match that we got at Hell in a Cell is a close second for tag team matches of the year. But you will not find a match in WWE this year for tag team gold or any tag team match that comes close to beating Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan versus the Undisputed Era.
I didn't have to get plates in my face, but adversity can make or break it, and it's going to make us.
Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch forged a bond in battle.
Sometimes that makes for a great tag team partner.
We're not Superman, we are your average blokes, but we have all scratched and clawed for this. At the end of the day, your sole purpose is to be champion.
If we look at this injury and we want it too much, it's going to be something that's going to hold us back. Our ultimate goal is winning the NXT Tag Team titles and showing people that two average blokes we can achieve great things.
Lorcan and Burch have their sights set on NXT Tag Team Gold.
The only thing they're missing is a name, because the Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan as just a tag team, they need an actual name. I want WWE, somebody creative, somebody at Triple H's camp, give them a name. I know, like when Kalisto and Sin Cara first teamed up back in 2014, 2015, they didn't have a name until the night they won the tag team titles. Then they became the Lucha Dragons. Maybe that's it. Maybe they have to win tag team gold before they'll give them a name. Which, quite honestly, because Danny Burch is British, they could literally have these two go for both sets of tag team titles, and no one have a big fuss that somebody from the United States is going to win the UK tag team titles. Who cares? It's a title that represents a country. You have everyone else from other countries come in and have that, but yeah, you could have Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan if they don't find a fit for the tag team division, because the tag team division on the main NXT card roster is pretty packed. And outside of Mustache Mountain and the Coffee Brothers, in the UK division, you could honestly put Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan in that tag team division, and I don't think anybody would be mad because they would probably have a better opportunity to fight for those tag team titles because you have the War Raiders, you have Undisputed Era over here, you have the Mighty, you have the Mustache, you have Street Profits. I'm sure there's other ones I can't think of off the top of my head, but that's 4 teams right there, and there's other ones, and the Forgotten Sons as well. But definitely could see those two be hopping over to the UK division and possibly vying for those tag team titles. And I'm sure I wouldn't mind it, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind winning either one of the tag team championships in NXT or NXT UK. Great to see those guys back, and can't wait to see what they actually do coming soon. Next week, in 2 weeks, they didn't make these matches. We have Nikki Cross versus Bianca Belair. That adds on to the tag team title match on the final set of these tapings. Keith Lee versus Kona Reeves will be next week, and of course the North American Championship match for next week as well. EC3 versus Lars Sullivan. This match was mostly EC3, surprisingly. Lars Sullivan's out there. EC3 starts. He has this fur jacket thing on, like over his shoulder and stuff. He's starting to do his EC, his like pointing to his letters of his name, and he just gets to the E, throws off his jacket, turns around, and just beelines to the ring. And he gets the jump on Lars Sullivan, tosses him out to the ring. Ref rings the bell on EC3 all over Lars until Lars goozles EC3's neck. But EC3 breaks that immediately and shoves him into the ring steps. Sullivan tries 3 times to, goozle EC3's neck, EC3, but EC3 each time breaks it and sends him careening into the steel steps. And that third one gets Lars Sullivan knocked down. Him going into these steel steps also got a price for, Lars Sullivan paid a price for this on his back, because as he gets up after the third one, you just see a streak of blood coming out of his back. Like, he took a lot of damage there. EC3 laying up the chest of Lars Sullivan. EC tries to lift Sullivan up for something, but no dice. EC power slam. Oh, yeah. He was going for a power slam, but he doesn't get it the first time. EC3 does power slam Lars Sullivan, then a diving elbow for a 1 count. Lars lifts EC3 up and drives him into the corner and drives his shoulder a couple times into EC3, then tosses him across the ring. Then he goes for a clothesline in the corner, but EC3 gains control and gets a 2 count. Boot to the head of Sullivan. Sullivan pops up and it's EC3, Sullivan tosses EC3 across the way, now cross-face clubbing, blows EC3 for a 1 count. Sullivan with a neck vice, EC3 fights back, tries a German. I can't believe he got this thing up, but he tries a German suplex. Sullivan blocks that, but EC3 grabs a hold of him again and does nail a German suplex. Mauro Ranallo, on this night, for this match and the Tony Nese and Johnny Gargano match, made these matches feel way better than I think anyone else could do. He was in, rare form for both of these matches. He goes for a crossbody off the top rope for a 2 count. EC3 lifts Sullivan up, but Sullivan with an elbow, then a short arm clothesline. Freak accident blocked by EC3, and then they both get sent over the top rope by what they called a cactus clothesline. But the cactus clothesline to me is when you do that, but the person doing the clotheslining gets their head stuck in between the second and middle, the top and middle rope, as Cactus Jack used to do. Sullivan catches EC3, hits a freak accident on the apron, tosses him back into the ring, goes up top, hits the diving headbutt, which needs to be banned from wrestling in WWE, period, but gets the 1, 2, 3. Lars Sullivan is your winner. What a freaking match. What a night. NXT, and I'm looking down and I'm like, whoa, it's only it's already not 8:48. It's not even 10, it's not even 9 o'clock yet. What the hell, man? This show should have went on a little bit longer. I think they could have added at least another match or so, or had something going a little bit longer. But I'm telling you though, if you want to check out a great match this week, go check out Tony Nese versus Johnny Gargano. That was a great match. Was it match of the year candidate? Was it match of the century candidate? Not really, but it was definitely a great match. It was definitely something to look forward to, and it shows why the guys at 205 Live are hugely underutilized, and I think it's a damn shame. And hopefully this will not be the last time we see somebody from 205 Live invade, I guess you want to say, invade NXT. Because it helps out, and honestly I think it helps out 205 Live, especially since 205 Live is on before NXT for the time being, I think should be forever now, as well as give us some great matches, because putting up against a Johnny Gargano or having Ricochet versus a Cedric Alexander, how about that? You had champion versus champion with the UK champion and the North American champion. How about Ricochet versus Cedric Alexander or Buddy Murphy, whoever wins the Cruiserweight title match at Melbourne, Australia? Bring the Cedric down and have a Cruiserweight champion versus North American champion. Non-title, of course, but have those two in a match against each other. How would that feel to anybody at the last set of tapings? I would love that. Or have Drew Gulak come down and face somebody. Have Velveteen Dream versus Leo Rush again. Or, just give me ideas if you wanted. If they were to do that, who would you want to see? Who would you want to see in the cruiserweight division come to NXT, and who would you want to see face who? I was, like I said, like to see a Buddy Murphy or Cedric Alexander versus Ricochet match, not non-titles, of course, because I think Ricochet, being who he is and being who Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander are, would put on one hell of a match. But I've babbled enough for this one. This is your NXT review for this October 3rd, 2018. Make sure to find me on Twitter at the France. Find me on twitch.tv/thefrance08. And hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning or tomorrow at noon for the Mae Young Classic review. And then Friday, we will have at noon a preview and predictions for the Super Showdown. Super Showdown on Saturday, and then of course unscripted on a special Sunday for the second time in a couple weeks. Until then, my name is France. You guys have a good one, and I will see you guys tomorrow.